Alright, so Bungie had decided to ban me a few months ago, and every time, or both times that I tried to, like, appeal, they just outright upheld the ban. Even though what I had done was block my own ports to play in solo, which is technically the same thing as changing the clock on a PS4. Because you're on the PS4, you're modifying the console clock to be out of sync with the server clock so you don't load in with anyone. Blocking the ports is just making your computer NAT strict so you can load in by yourself to stuff. And they banned me for it, citing their terms of use. Well, if you go through their terms of use, then you can see that it cites everything in the code of conduct. Like, if you just go through every detail of the terms and the SLA, which I will do a brief cursory thing for, then it's like you can have restrictions added on or be banned for violating the code of conduct. And it says that in both the terms of use and the SLA. In fact, if you do search for ban in the terms, network in terms, manipulation, and the only thing that comes up is restrictions. But it's talking about, well, if you do restrict, it comes up with 12 results, which are just talking about the different types of restrictions that you can't do with their software. And this is in the terms. I am recording this as of February 17th, so that way they can't change it and say, no, it's no, it's all fake, that it's all different. But you could go to Wayback Machine and get the information then. And it's like, yeah, restrictions on use. Your use of the Bungie.net is subject to the following restrictions. It gives a whole bunch of stuff. And then if you do code conduct in here, it says violate any code of conduct or any other guidelines which may be applicable. Use of communication services, right there. It's just saying what you can and can't do. You can't upload files that contain viruses, corrupted files, anything like that when dealing with, like, their network. Restrict or inhibit any other user from using and enjoying them. Violating any code of conduct or other guidelines. And yeah, then it gives this link, which takes you to this page, which is pretty much right here as well. It says the code of conduct is pretty much treating everyone with respect, making online friends, talking about stuff you're interested in, all that. And then it says stuff that sucks. Personal attacks, okay, didn't do any of that. Disrespect for any reason, no. Depiction, no. Breaking the law, plotting or describing illegal activities, no. Spoiling games with hacks, cheats, or unreleased story details. Distributing unauthorized, copyrighted, or trademarked material. Soliciting. The only thing that port blocking could technically be classified is a bug or all that. Is like a bug because you're restricting your NAT and making it so you don't load in with other people. And then it's like, if you'd like to read more about when they're for when to swing the ban hammer, it brings up this page. And if you go down and stuff that sucks, personal attack, harassment, violation, disrespect, constitutes scoring violence, what constitutes illegal activities, how old do I have to be, what is a game hack or cheat? A game hack or cheat is any weakness, vulnerability, or other circumstance unintended or unauthorized by the game's developer that allows the player to manipulate the game to their own advantage, either in solo play or against other players. Hacks and cheats are distinguished from bugs and glitches by the characteristic that they cannot be easily accessed or performed by any player in the course of normal gameplay, and require unauthorized tampering with network connections, game source code, operating systems, or other back-end systems rather than normal gameplay. Well, the thing here is port blocking is messing with your own network connections, not anyone else's, and it can be done by any player. If you bring up the Windows firewall, you can block the ports yourself by blocking these two things. If you look at the properties, you can just go in, block these TCP ports, and if you go in, you can block these UDP ports. Pretty much every port associated with Steam and Destiny on Steam. And you just put that in inbound and outbound rules and you block them. So you make your NAT strict. That is where it differs from a hack or cheat, because anyone can do it. Anyone. It's common. And then, like, their whole SLA, no ban, no manipulation, no, well, network, will, okay, you agree that you will not do or allow any of the following: exploit the program, use it on more than one computer at the same time, copy, reproduce, copy the program onto hard drive or other storage device, use the program in a network multi-user arrangement or remote access arrangement, meaning like you let multiple people use your system or you remote access it on another person's system. And then restrict brings up US government restricted rights. And it's just like private expense provided, use duplication. It's the standard stuff. You're not supposed to copy this, and which, okay, understandable. But yeah, network. Okay, there's 4. I forgot that. And then it's like, oh, on a Sony product, Sony's network. And then for Sony Interactive Network, pretty much just those. And then the linked, oh yeah, I already went over the linked code of conduct up here. Right here. In fact, the only mention of proper network manipulation lies on Article 11929. Why was I banned? The ban message may indicate which activities are impacted. Players who receive an account ban will no longer be able to play the banned Destiny activities on that account. Meaning you get an account ban, you're pretty much screwed on everything. If you have hundreds of hours of progress, Bungie may issue restrictions or bans to accounts that have consistent, unstable connections when playing Destiny, as this negatively impacts other players. Okay, this I can understand. But if you do port blocking, they do a perma-ban without giving you any restrictions or warnings or anything like that. And port blocking doesn't really negatively impact other players. It just negatively impacts you, in the sense if you need to team up with other people to do an activity, then you can't do that. Frequent quitting or removal. Third-party PC applications. Oh, right, I forgot that was still on. Network, all this jazz again. Use program. Again, remote accessing it from others or letting others remote access it. Sony network terms, all that. In Mother of God. No manipulation, no ban, code of conduct, nothing. What else? Restrict, just the standard US government restriction. Code of conduct, spoiling games with hacks, cheats, HSF, unauthorized tampering with network connections, game source code, operating systems, or other backend systems that normal people can't do and not easy for them to do. And then the whole thing where it's like, oh yeah, well that's bad because it's over here in Article 1192.9. Players who receive account ban, which is what I got, no longer be able to play Destiny accounts. They may issue restrictions or bans to accounts that have consistent, unstable connections when playing, as it negatively impacts other players. And again, it doesn't really negatively impact other players, just you, because other players can't load in with you. And if you port block, they'll do a permaban, which is retarded because legitimate hackers, ddosers, cheaters, they'll get restrictions 2-3 times before they get a permaban. And they are actually manipulating their data and all that to give themselves massive advantages. A third-party PC application, which again, as you can see, this is first party. It's Windows Defender Firewall, or WF.MSC. A code of conduct or license agreement violation. This behavior includes, but is not limited to, connecting to game service with any of the following: modified game software, modified game assets, modified hardware, modified firmware, modified operating system files, including emulators and virtual machines. Using an external program to modify or analyze the operation of the game software, such as trainers, mods, cheats, aimbots, or auto-fire. And again, users of those just get restrictions 2-3 times before they're permaban. User mode or kernel debuggers, graphics hacks, sending malicious network data, again, hackers and ddosers, sending malicious network traffic to Destiny servers or other Destiny players. Okay. Modification or interruption of Destiny network traffic with intent to disrupt the experience of other players or to gain an advantage in the game. The only thing I wanted to do was play by myself. I've got social anxiety, and well, I'm pretty much antisocial, and I don't like grouping up with random people, so I'd prefer to play by myself if I don't have anybody to play with. And all I did was interrupt the traffic to my own PC. That's it. I was not intending to disrupt the experience of other players. I just wanted to play by myself. Intentionally deriving gameplay benefit from another user's behavior in the above categories. Unauthorized access to software or DLC, game piracy, which I did not do. I pre-ordered Shadowkeep for sake. I've never impersonated an employee, such as hate speech, griefing, or message spamming. The only time I message spammed is when I ended up in a group with other people and I wanted to do something before they ran off. Habitual unsportsmanlike conduct. Yeah, no. Habitual quitting or idle behavior in match-made activities. Only whenever I got super bored or was tired, I would just walk around and pretty much do nothing. But I would make sure that my team could do it themselves. I'd just watch them handle a few areas, and if they were doing decent, I'd just goof off. If they were having trouble, I would help. I've never deleted another player's items or characters, and I've rarely habitually quit from competitive Crucible or Gambit matches. I rarely quit from them. If it's just a normal Crucible or normal Gambit, I might quit. Again, it wasn't a habit. And then restricted access to gear items, yeah, I've got nothing. And then they're players who have received a ban or a restriction may contact us using the form. Again, this is all untied to the other stuff. You do code of conduct thing, it just takes you here, where it just says that, a very vague description. And then if you actually seek out the thing, again, it is kind of a vague description. They do not specify at all. And it's just annoying because actual cheaters and hackers will go for days to months without being banned. Whereas people who are blocking their own ports just to play by themselves and not want to deal with other people who might cause problems for them, they'll get banned, perma-banned, without any warning whatsoever. And I know this video has gone on for about 20 minutes, but yeah. And you can be banned for just having a poor connection quality. I've been honest, and I have told them why I even played Destiny 1 and 2. I'm not banned from Destiny 1, but I only have it on Legacy console, so I can't really have fun with it. Especially considering that it might go down in the next year or two. But I've explained exactly how I violated the policy. I've even told them, or I even gave them advice on how to check and see if people are doing that, which would be every time they hit an enemy or fire off a round, it checks their network, and if it's super strict, like no data getting to or from it, then boot them back to the menu. If their clock, like do a check against their system clock on consoles, and if it's out of sync with the server clock or other people's clocks, boot them to the main menu until they fix it. I've even like gave them instructions on how to reproduce the whole thing, so that way they could see it's very easily done. And yeah, so I'm making this YouTube video on February 17th to show that their terms of use, SLA, and their linked code of conduct is severely out of date, and to bring attention to the fact that cheaters, like hackers and ddosers and legitimate full-on cheaters, have more leeway than port blockers do, because they're just getting restrictions before they get banned, whereas port blockers, again, are getting perma-banned. So I figured I'd make this video, and if anybody at the appeals office watches this, again, I'm sorry. None of my friends were online whenever I was on, and I was bored and just wanted to play by myself because I didn't want to deal with other people causing me problems. In fact, I was for causing myself more problems by doing so, because I couldn't complete any of the like strikes by myself unless it was one of the really early ones in my time. So again, I'm sorry, and I'd like to be unbanned. I would, because I've only port blocked, and it's about the same as changing a PS4 system clock, because you're taking your system out of sync with other players and trying to limit how many people join you in the hopes of getting none to join. Even when I port blocked, I still had people joining on. So I would leave because they'd immediately run off and not listen to my requests, which is pretty frustrating. So I hope that you take this into consideration. I will link the petition I started in the description. So I hope that you actually unban me and give other players, other port blockers, a second chance. Because some of us don't like to play with other people we don't know. And it just makes it so frustrating when other people join in on us and just immediately run off and not read their chat, because it is annoying. Anyways, I'm gonna log off now since it's gone on for 24 minutes and I did not mean for it to go. But I went through the entire SLA, the privacy policy, the terms of use, the linked code of conduct, and the unlinked code of conduct, which are both vague in terms of what constitutes manipulating the network. I did not know that it also meant manipulating your own network, but now I do, which is kind of understandable, but again, very vaguely worded. Anyways, I just want to be unbanned so I can play with my friends. because this is really kind of frustrating to lose hundreds and hundreds of hours of progress, as well as like $100 worth of stuff. So again, I'm sorry for port blocking. I just want to be able to play the game again. I've been banned for nearly 2 months. It's not fun. I'm logging off now, and goodbye.